On timers over here, I've been given strict instructions about time limits this evening, and I will try my best to conform. I want to say, Reverend Kessler, Reverend Tucker, Brenda, all of you, the awardees this evening, how much I really appreciate the fact that you have not lost the faith. We've been in difficult times, we've been in trying times, and it's so easy become cynical, become disillusioned, become disconnected, become alienated. But I so much appreciate the fact that these honorees have exerted themselves and have kept the faith, kept the fight going. I want to say that it is an honor to represent the Nashville Cordell Hull chapter of the United Nations Association of the USA. Nashville is home to the first United Nations Association chapter in the world. This is due to the fact that a Vanderbilt political science professor, D.F. Fleming, had seen the carnage and wreckage, the desolation, the needless loss of life and treasure in World War I and World War II. And he thought there's no need to repeat the mistakes that caused both of those terrible conflagrations. So he organized some people, probably very much like our awardees this evening, who had faith in mankind, who had the idea that we can rise above our personal prejudices, passions, narrow interests, and take into account our responsibility to the body politic. That's the old social contract. We derive benefits from being in this society, and it's incumbent upon us to put something back in. As the old saying goes, we want to leave it better than we found it. I want to mention something that you may be aware of. This incident has a little bit of backstory. Dr. David Crisp retired from NASA in 2022. He spent most of his professional career at NASA. He was the chief scientist on a program called the Orbiting Carbon Observatory. NASA sent up two observatories, orbiting observatories. One was a free flying satellite. The other was attached to the International Space Station. And the purpose was to look down on the planet Earth and measure carbon output, carbon dioxide output. The first one they sent up, unfortunately, the rocket motors failed and the thing tumbled over in the ocean. So it took 5 years to get the next one up. But that one went up in, I think, 2014, if I remember correctly. And it has been working beautifully ever since. No problems, no issues. The experts who are in control of those satellites say they're actually performing better than expected. One of the results that the scientists did not expect, and this was a bonus, for the $750 million you taxpayers put into these programs, it also measured photosynthesis, because when plants are undergoing photosynthesis using the sun's energy, some people would be loath to hear that solar is actually feeding us, but that's just the way nature works. But these devices were so sophisticated and so excellent in producing data that we can use, not just carbon dioxide output, but also agricultural output. In fact, they're so good that they can be used to predict where there will be famine, and with famine, there's often conflict and warfare. That's how good these instruments are. Dr. Crisp, sorry to tell you, retired in 2022 from NASA. He got some rather unexpected phone calls earlier this year from some of his former colleagues who were still at NASA, asking questions about those orbiting carbon observatories and how they could be disabled. He thought that was rather strange. Well, as it turns out, there were orders from the White House to basically terminate those missions. One of them, the free flying, free orbiting observatory, would be deorbited. In other words, sent back down to Earth. This multi-million-dollar instrument would be destroyed when it got to the Earth's atmosphere. The other would just be turned off. The reason being, as far as I can tell, is because they were producing too much information, too much data. And if your mindset is against alternative energy sources, renewable, solar and wind, geothermal, the last thing you want is to have somebody talking about how much carbon dioxide we're producing out of fossil fuels. The move was to keep us from knowing. The idea being that if we don't know about it, it's not a problem. And I'd like to suggest to you this evening that in the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, it's not specifically enumerated, but it underlies, I think, just about all of the other articles, and that's the right to know, K-N-O-W. There is an article, I think it's 18, that talks about the right of universal education. That's the right to know. There are articles talking about the right to have opinions and to express opinions. These are important rights. The right to know underlies all of these. I'd like to suggest to you this evening that we, as American citizens, need to be vigilant, need to be cautious, because what we see coming out of Washington is a concentrated, deliberate effort to suppress our right to know. Less information causes less problems, political problems. So if we don't know about these issues, maybe we won't be moved to do something about them. The right to know, I would suggest, the right to K-N-O-W, is also the power to know, N-O. You see things going on in your society that you are opposed to and say this should not be happening, like the abuse, the oppression, the vilification of our neighbors. We need the right to know, N-O. So I want to compliment all of the awardees and all of you all for coming here this chilly December evening to celebrate this important event, dating from 1948. And I'm going to, you might have guessed my age, but that was the year of my birth. I think there's something really special about it. But I want to thank you for being here, and I've overrun my time, but thank you so much to all of you, to the organizers. This event was superbly organized, and I just hope and encourage you to keep this great tradition going. Thank you so much.